Every year, on August 9th, Singapore celebrates its National Day. And for a Malaysian, especially one who loves the city, Kuala Lumpur, it always brings up a question, a sort of ghost. What if? What if the separation in 1965 never happened? If we had avoided all the problems that made Singapore's exit from the Federation of Malaysia, formed in 1963, seemingly inevitable? We tend to think of it as a purely political story, a history book. But it got me thinking how I was recently in a small room for a performance workshop experience for Kuala Lumpur's Creative KL Festival, and it made me realize we've been looking at it all wrong. The separation wasn't just a political divorce, it was a rerouting of our entire national destiny. You're watching Explaining Malaysia, a video essay project exploring the soul of Malaysia through primary sources. I'm your host, Mr. Kuala Lumpur. The workshop was called 6365 Notes on a Separation by three brilliant Singaporean theatre makers, Fashali Fazli, Nabila Syed, and Shaiful Bahri Muhammad. It wasn't a play, it was an experience designed to pull the past into the present using the dry official language of parliamentary speeches and archival documents to conjure ghosts. We pieced together both meaning and context, and meaning gained from hindsight. We were surrounded by the words of the men who built and then broke a nation. And in that event, one idea really hit me and left me pretty changed. It's the idea that if Singapore had stayed in United Malaysia, it would have almost certainly been a cultural juggernaut, the center of finance, arts, and entertainment. It would have become our New York City, our Shanghai. Think about that. Not the capital, but the center of gravity, a cultural juggernaut, the place with the unapologetic swagger, the economic engine that pulls the whole country into its orbit. And Kuala Lumpur? KL would be the administrative heart, the political capital, our Washington, D.C. Important, yes, but not where the action is. And I have to be honest, as someone who spends his days wanting to showcase my home city, frustrated by how overlooked and underrated KL is, this idea terrified me as much as it fascinated me. It felt true. I was in Shanghai recently and I fell in love with it immediately. It felt like walking into that alternate future. I think it might be the most dynamic city on the planet right now. It's not just the scale, it's the relentless humming efficiency. The metro system isn't necessarily newer than ours in KL, but the coverage, the sheer logic of it, is light years ahead. It's what happens when immense will and resources are focused on a single point. Shanghai gave me a taste of what that second city juggernaut feels like. And it made me think, what if that was our story? Let's indulge that thought experiment. In this optimistic Greater Malaysia, maybe the best of both worlds would have happened. Imagine politically charged Malaysian art, our artists with their raw, defiant voices getting streamlined egalitarian funding from a ruthlessly efficient Singaporean run National Arts Council or from cultural foundations based away from KL, with the dynamism of Penang's Georgetown Festival multiplied by millions. Imagine our incredible architectural heritage in Kuala Lumpur being preserved with the same non negotiable rigor and storytelling that Singapore applies to its institutions. Of course, it's too imaginative to think Malaysia would be unilaterally shifted by Singapore without having its own touch. Maybe KL gets to keep its soul, its unique, unpretentious grit. It remains the cultural heartland of the Malay Peninsula. And instead, Singapore becomes the global fist, the economic brain, handling the machinery of culture, of finance, of technology with an efficiency we in KL can only dream of. Not too far from reality. But there's a price. All that attention, all that investment, all that raw talent would inevitably drain south. More so than it does in the real world, where Malaysians dream of earning in Sing dollars and coming home after surviving near burnout from the aggressively workaholic lifestyle in the island. In that world, I'd probably still be here making videos about how KL, the federal capital, is a city of great culture and identity. But I'd be shouting to an even stronger wind because the whole world would be looking at the shining metropolis on the island. So, what's the point of this story? It's not to mourn a past that never was. Singapore chose its path and Malaysia chose its. But looking at that path not taken illuminates the path that's still ahead for us. When I see Singapore's world class museums or its brilliant use of technology, I don't feel envy anymore. I see a choice. When I experienced Shanghai's metro, I didn't just see a better system, I saw what happens when a city decides that public mobility is a right, not a luxury. Kuala Lumpur will never be Shanghai or New York, and in this timeline, it will never have Singapore to lean on or be overshadowed by. Its destiny is its own. And maybe that's the real gift of the separation. The potential of the city, our city, remains immense. Its future hasn't been written yet. It's a young city, and we are the ones who get to write it. Happy National Day, Singapore. Your story will always be a part of ours too.